In this episode, you're going to see the scariest videos that are trending right now. Let's take a look.
While there are many videos that claim to show proof of aliens, few, if any, rarely deliver. However, if this clip, uploaded to YouTube by Awesome Life Videos, is authentic, then it might very well be the clearest piece of extraterrestrial footage ever captured. Take a look. The video appears to have been taken in the dim of twilight, shortly before the sun has set. A viewer has noted that it might have been recorded in Brazil based on the sound of music that can be faintly heard in the background, but this claim is unsubstantiated. As you can see, the creature has a thin neck and a large bulbous head. What makes it particularly terrifying are its limbs. They're thin and slightly pointed at the bottom, almost like those of an insect. The creature seems to crawl across the rooftop, gripping the surface with its sharply bent legs. Its appearance is certainly unlike any alien that you might typically see in pop culture. While the video's quality is decent, viewers' opinions remain split over what the creature actually is. Some believe that the distance at which the footage is being captured could indicate that the creature is fake. However, others have examined the alleged alien's strange body shape and seem certain that it must be extraterrestrial. Take another look for yourself and let me know what you think down below. What was supposed to be a beautiful sunny afternoon of play turned into a day of mystery for parent Jessica Jones-Ebert. Rather than simply getting a few cute pictures of her children playing on the lawn, she ended up with something eerie instead. In the first picture, we see her son playing on the lawn, seemingly having a good time. In the second picture, her son has turned to face her in the camera, and viewers are met with a chilling sight. To the right of the child seems to be another young child, though this child looks nearly transparent and grey, almost ghost-like. Finally, in the third image, Jessica's daughter joins her son in play. The possible ghost child in question is now in the background, staring at the two living children from a distance. It's possible that the third mystery child could actually just be another human child caught in rapid movement, which would explain his or her blurriness. However, Jessica's certain that there were no other children nearby when the photo was taken. Could this eerie grey figure actually be the spirit of a deceased child? Perhaps something awful happened in this very park, and the spirit is trying to make contact. Give these photos another look and decide for yourself as to what's actually happening here. Many paranormal experts believe that children can see things that adults can't. According to this TikTok from Ashley is a Mexican, that might indeed be the case. In this video, a young mother takes out her camera and begins recording when her toddler son makes some startling statements while strapped into his car seat. Specifically, he points to a tree just outside and says there's a girl in the tree.
Up there.
You can see somebody?
Yeah,
Are you sure? I don't see anybody, honey.
I see a girl.
You see a girl?
Yeah.
Upon further questioning, he adds that the girl is dead.
What's she doing?
They tell me. It's Dad.
The boy's mother, clearly concerned, pans the camera to the tree to show that there's nothing there. No animals, no trash, and definitely no dead people.
I don't think there's a dead girl in the tree, baby. There's nothing in the tree.
Despite the evidence to the contrary, the boy insists that he can see a dead girl in the tree. According to the video's caption, the boy later added that the girl was tied to the tree, but she's still dead.
It's not yet, but it's still Dad.
Oh.
It isn't unusual for kids to say strange things. Most children have overactive imaginations, often resulting in imaginary friends. At least parents assume that they're imaginary, rather than contemplate the possibility that their child is seeing a ghost. The fact that the boy in this video insists that the girl he sees is dead is certainly alarming, even though he describes her with curiosity rather than fear. Did this young boy see a ghost in the tree that day, or was he making up a story to try and terrify his mother? Either way, his matter-of-fact description of a dead girl strung up in a tree is certainly alarming.
They tell me. It's Dad. It's Dad.
There's very little known about the origins of this next video. The footage appears as though it could have been captured by an internal home security camera. In the clip, we see the hallway of a house where a lone red balloon is floating in the air. There's nobody around, yet as we watch the balloon, it begins to move as though it's being held by someone or something. It seems to move purposefully down the hall and under the archway. The balloon pauses briefly before heading left out of the range of the camera. One particularly keen-eyed viewer has noticed that when the balloon reaches the doorway, it actually seems to partially pass through the solid archway before continuing on. While it might simply be a trick of the light, take a closer look and see what you think. Balloons do sometimes move on their own even when inside a building. The slightest air drafts from a vent or a crack in a window can make them float around. However, the sudden specific movements of this balloon don't seem to add up. Could the string of the balloon be held by a ghostly child looking to play? Or is there another explanation to account for the balloon's mysterious movements? It's said that spirits that linger on Earth after their death do so because of tragedies that they experienced in life. Is that the case for the mysterious woman recorded in this footage shared by news outlet Express? The footage was recorded by locals in Monitos, Cordoba, Colombia. Many passers-by stopped near a large tree when their attention was captured by a mysterious crying sound. The culprit was quickly captured on camera, a shadowy woman perched on the top of a tree. Watch. The footage is too unclear to make out any of the woman's features, leading many to believe that she's a ghost. Certainly, it would be highly unusual and difficult for an ordinary woman to stand perched at the top of a large tree, and her woeful wails have an otherworldly quality that's difficult to explain. Witnesses believe they encountered a type of spirit known as La Llorona. This ghost is believed to be the spirit of a woman whose children died tragically, typically by drowning. Often, the mother's spirit lingers near the body of water where her children met their end. In some legends, La Llorona drowned her children herself before taking her own life. In these stories, the spirit often hunts for other young children to lure to their deaths in the water. Some who have viewed this video are skeptical. After all, a treetop is an unusual place for La Llorona to appear. One theory claims that videos like this are deviously and strategically planned out to decrease property values in certain areas. An elaborate yet terrifying hoax is set up to scare locals who in turn want to sell their properties, often at a vastly reduced rate. So does this video really show La Llorona, or is it just a scam designed to fleece scared property owners? Let me know your take on this in the comments section below. There are a lot of strange creatures in the forests and oceans around us that have yet to be formally documented by science. In this video from YouTuber Dr. Moonrat, a group of boys come across a creature that resembles something straight out of an urban legend. The explorers head out into a wooded area late at night in a seeming attempt to find something unusual.
No, I think... Well, that was...
Just as they begin discussing the possibility that they just saw an orb, they're suddenly interrupted by a guttural squealing sound.
I don't know, maybe. What was that? What was that?
They nervously joke that they might get eaten by a pig out in the woods. However, their laughter quickly turns to fear when the faint light from their camera picks up some sort of half pig, half human-like beast. Take a look.
I don't know. I'm wigging out. I don't know.
The explorers run away in terror, haunted by the creature's spine-chilling squeals.
What is that?
The legend of the Pig Man began in Chicago in 1893 with a butcher who had worked while wearing a pig mask. According to the story, the pigs eventually took revenge on the man. Legends say that the spirit of the deceased butcher can be summoned by looking into a mirror and saying, "Here, piggy, pig, pig." However, attempting to summon this angry spirit is definitely ill-advised. While we never actually hear the explorers in the video summoning the Pig Man, could it be possible that they actually encountered this legendary monster? However, the uploader themselves in the comments section suggests that they may have encountered a homeless man who ran at them in the dark of night.
What is that?
Unfortunately, with the footage being so shaky, it's hard to determine which one's the case. So you'll have to watch this footage again and come up with your own conclusions.
I don't know.
What is that?
Off-roading is a fun hobby, but it can also be dangerous. Most people worry about breakdowns or injuries, but few people, including Tick Tocker Smithereens, worry about paranormal encounters in the darkness. The strange occurrences began when the Tick Tocker headed to a lake in the wilderness. It's dark, the area only being lit by the vehicle's headlights. We can't see the lake behind the trees and tall grass in front of the car. However, we can hear something strange. Listen. A high-pitched crying pierces the air. There doesn't appear to be any animals or people visible anywhere in the area, but the sound is definitely not the wind. The Tick Tocker is torn. Is someone in trouble? He clearly wants to help, but getting out of the car in this instance might be a dangerous move. He decides to drive closer to the lake, following the crying sounds until he encounters a locked gate labelled "No Trespassing." Ignoring the sign, he exits the car and begins walking in the direction of the sounds. On the way to the lake, he comes across something disturbing, a tall rock adorned in fresh flowers. It appears to be a grave or some sort of memorial. Could this be the final resting place of whatever entity is making that eerie sound? He continues on, eventually finding the lake. Here the cries are at their loudest.
I'm literally so scared. I keep hearing something around me. I don't know what it is. This is literally the worst experience I've ever had. I'm freaking out. I should not have come here.
Disturbingly, the cries no longer seem to be coming from any particular direction. Instead, the sounds echo all around him, making him feel like he's surrounded.
Hello? Hello?
The end of the video shows him running back to his car. Some viewers commented that the cries resemble those of a type of spirit known as La Llorona, also known as the Weeping Woman. This variety of spirit is that of a woman who roams the area near the water, mourning her children who drowned there. The memorial that the Tick Tocker encounters gives credence to this theory. It could be a memorial for the children who lost their lives in the lake, children whose mother remains near the lake weeping for them. Could this be evidence of La Llorona? If you're the owner of a car or motorbike, you'll know that plenty of unexpected things can happen while driving. This video, uploaded to YouTube by Alex661, appears to show that supernatural entities might also be something to keep in mind next time you take your vehicle out for a spin. While little is known about where this clip was actually taken, it appears as though it was captured by a passenger on their mobile phone. We see the view from inside the vehicle as it heads down a lonely road late at night. There are no other cars on the road, and the area is only lit by the vehicle's headlights and one solitary street lamp a ways off in the distance. Suddenly, the driver and passenger are shocked when something strange appears on the road in front of them, some sort of pale figure moving at rapid speed. The entity is white and appears to be semi-transparent, leading the uploader to believe that it was in fact a ghost. Watch carefully how the figure seems to fade away into the darkness. There are dozens of roads all around the world that locals believe to be haunted. Often the spirits that are said to roam these streets are thought to have once belonged to people who met their tragic end on these very roads. The spirits of those who died suddenly are then thought to linger near where the accident occurred. Could the figure seen in this video be the long-forgotten spirit of an unfortunate accident victim, one who perhaps lived out their final minutes on this very roadway? Imagine your entire property being haunted by something otherworldly. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case for Slaptown viewer Tanya JD in Van Cleve, Mississippi. Tanya believes her property is haunted. Numerous sightings of shadowy figures and strange occurrences around the house led Tanya to believe something supernatural was afoot. In a set of photos, Tanya gives evidence of a shadowy figure wandering outside of her property. In the first photo, we can see what looks to be a shadow standing still on the right side of the frame. In the second photo she shared, the figure is gone. These photos were taken just moments apart. A friend of Tanya's began doing some research as to the history of the property. They discovered that the area used to be a Native American burial ground. Here's Tanya describing some of the eerie events that have been plaguing her house.
I'm wondering if I should get a priest out here or something. I done saged my house. I don't think the spirits, if it is haunted, are bad, but bad things has been happening. Like, we're all in bed June 3rd, and all of a sudden, my stove catches on fire and almost burns my kitchen down. We've been hearing knocks on the front door. We go answer it, nobody's there. The doors has been coming open. We go to bed, wake up the next morning, every cabinet in our kitchen is open. My son weighed on this scale 3 times and it weighed 666. I don't know how to react to some of this, but it's really starting to spook me the hell out.
Tanya also shared a video of some activity happening in her bedroom. In the video, she's sitting on her bed when she calls out for any spirits to make themselves known.
If there's somebody in here, open the door.
Suddenly, the door to her room opens on its own. Her pet cat sitting on the edge of the bed stares at the door.
I'm literally about to run out this house. Mike. Oh my God. Look at me, my cat's over there looking. The door is literally just opening and shutting on its own. Look at... Okay. That is weird. You'll see there's nothing down there. I don't know what the going on, but that shit is weird. What is it? There it goes again. Okay, I'm out. That's enough. That.
In another video she shared, we can see the outside of her property once again. Strange lights flash on and off throughout the video, and a grey figure appears out of thin air. The figure walks through the yard before the video ends. There's certainly a lot to unravel with Tanya's story, but what is clear is that something abnormal seems to have taken over her property. Are the shadowy figures caught on tape the same ones opening the cabinet doors and setting stovetops on fire? Tanya doesn't believe the spirits are necessarily bad, but she does recognise that bad things are happening to her. The question is, what can she do to stop this activity? If you're unlucky enough to suffer phasmophobia or an intense fear of ghosts, then you probably haven't watched many of the videos from the YouTube channel Love to Investigate. These paranormal sleuths regularly explore creepy, abandoned places in search of spirits that might be lingering on the premises. In this video, they managed to catch what they believe to be the ghost of a young girl while exploring an abandoned asylum. The uploader notes in the video's description that the team prefers to keep the location of the asylum a secret, as to avoid attention from those who might seek to damage the property. The crew were fresh from shooting a paranormal investigation the night before at a place known as the Dana, the HM Prison Shrewsbury in Shrewsbury, Shropshire, England. As the building is often believed to be one of the most haunted prisons in the world, they had all their ghost hunting equipment at the ready. Unfortunately, when the team visited the asylum the following day, it was supposed to be strictly an abandoned building exploration, so they had left all their professional gear at home. All they had to film their experience with was their mobile phones. In the footage, we see that the investigators visit the asylum while it's still light outside.
Bathroom again.
As there are few dark places in which paranormal entities could be hiding, it seems as though the team weren't expecting to catch anything supernatural on film. However, that didn't appear to stop at least one resident ghost from making its presence known. The first evidence of paranormal activity can be heard early in the video. If you listen closely, you'll hear a voice whispering what sounds like, "Hi, Stacy."
What's that? Whoa. How they like pink tiles, don't they?
Moments later, the camera manages to capture something even more terrifying. Watch.
That's pretty cool, that is. Smells like an hospital in this part, definitely.
A ghostly girl appears to be watching the crew from a doorway.
Smells like an hospital in this part, definitely.
While it's hard to get a good look, some commenters have noted that she might have long dark hair and appears to be wearing a white dress.
That's pretty cool, that is. Smells like an hospital in this part.
While the location of the asylum remains a mystery, it proves difficult to speculate on who or what this young girl actually is. Could it be the spirit of a former resident, perhaps? Take another look and see what you think. For now, the ghostly girl's identity will have to remain a mystery.
That's pretty cool, that is. Smells like an hospital in this part, definitely.
According to estimates from scientists, there are about 8.7 million species of animals on the planet. Many of these creatures have yet to be identified. Does this video from Redditor, Creatures of the Earth, show one of these mysterious unknown species? Or is there a simple explanation? The footage was recorded on an outdoor security camera in the UK. The camera shows a narrow street and a few buildings across the road. If you watch the buildings, you may notice something odd disrupting the peaceful night. Take a look. A strange creature appears to crawl vertically down the side of the wall. The creature looks to be about the size of a cat. It looks like it climbs down the wall, jumps onto the top of a parked car, then scurries across the street before disappearing into thin air. Some viewers say it resembles a raccoon, but raccoons don't actually live in the area where this was filmed. And while it indeed does look like the strange creature crawls down the wall onto the parked car and then onto the pavement, what we're seeing is most likely a trick of perspective. In reality, it's most likely a spider crawling downward just in front of the camera's lens, giving the effect of something scurrying in the distance. And so, while we'd love this to be some kind of unknown gremlin hybrid with a taste for blood, it's probably just a spider. TikTok is often used by people wanting to show off their latest dance moves to all of their followers. This clip from official audio fan shows that even an innocent dance video has the potential to turn creepy. At the start of the footage, we see a young woman dancing in front of the camera. She's smiling and clearly having a good time. However, viewers distracted by the dancing woman might not notice something rather eerie happening in the background. Just behind the girl is a darkened doorway. If you look closely, you'll see what appears to be a ghostly face peering out of the darkness. The face is extremely pale and is partially covered with long, stringy black hair. The creepy figure just sits silently, creepily watching the woman dance. The appearance of this ghostly face resembles typical depictions of a Japanese spirit known as an onryo. The onryo is thought to be a vengeful ghost, harming its enemies to make up for the wrongdoings it experienced in life. It's often depicted with pale white skin and unkempt black hair. Although the face certainly seems to match this description, this could also just be a simple case of pareidolia, the brain's tendency to see faces in inanimate objects. It's possible that the dim light in the background is making something else resemble a ghostly face. If there is indeed something supernatural lurking in the back of this video, the young woman happily dancing may not be so carefree for long. If the onryo is watching, then it may only be a matter of time before disaster strikes. Sometimes we see things that are so horrifying that we seek advice from whoever we can to handle what we witnessed. TikToker Marlene Anna White experienced just this situation when she noticed something absolutely terrifying in her shower. The advice she received led her to do a cleansing of the house, but the scary memories still remain, as does the footage. In the very first clip of the story, we see the TikToker's shower. Standing behind the shower glass door is what at first seems to be a small child. The TikToker explains that there's only one child in the house who's currently in the living room.
I only have one baby at my house today, the rest of them are with grandma. You can clearly hear my baby in the living room crying.
Furthermore, her other children are with their grandmother. She goes on to say that she was on the toilet when she got a feeling that something was watching her. She started to get suspicious around her house, as she allegedly recently took a picture where she swears she saw her father, who passed away in it. During this explanation, we can see the supposed child or toddler in the shower raise a hand to his or her chest. The TikToker asks the presence what he or she is, but receives no response.
Who are you? Hello?
The second clip brings us back to the bathroom. The TikToker explains that her husband had called to her from the bathroom, saying that she needed to see something. When she went in, she saw that it had nothing to do with the shower this time. Instead, a fire alarm on the ceiling had detached, and parts of the ceiling had fallen to the ground. Moreover, water began to leak on the floor. She then turns the camera to the shower, explaining that she had got her husband to take a look, though he had not discovered anything unusual. For the third clip, the TikToker is using an app that allegedly allows you to speak with ghosts. Listen to what happens.
Hello? Catherine. No. Who's Catherine?
I'm close.
The TikToker freaks out and says she's leaving the room.
I'm close.
No. I'm leaving.
In a follow-up video, the TikToker wants to prove to others that these clips are not a prank done with her kids, so she asks one of her children to stand in the shower.
Stand in the shower real quick.
Her child gets in and closes the door in front of him.
Shut the door. Dang, you colorful, boy. Okay.
It becomes obvious that the silhouette of her child looks nothing like the shadow that appeared in the first clip.
Okay. You can get out.
With the videos garnering over 1 million views combined, there's been plenty of speculation as to what's happening in these clips. Many viewers went with the usual demon, ghost, evil spirit, or alien suggestions. Mostly viewers lean towards a demon, as some paranormal experts believe that demons can take on the form of children in order to lure people under the pretense of trust and innocence. If this is indeed a demon, what's its purpose of haunting a shower of all places? And is the demon related to the fire alarm becoming detached? These are vital questions to ponder as this mystery continues to unfold.
Who are you? Hello?
Some paranormal footage captured by security cameras is far more subtle than a disappearing person. In this mysterious video, the truth is even harder to explain, no matter how many times you study the clip. The video appears to have been captured using the night vision setting of an outdoor security camera. The device monitors a large yard with some shadowy trees off in the distance. The view is slightly obscured by light glaring off the falling snow. At first, the strange nature of this footage is disguised by the large snowflakes blowing across the camera's lens. If you watch closely, however, you'll notice something that doesn't appear to fit the scene, a large white shape floating around the yard. At first glance, you might think that the shape is just another snowflake, but the way it moves quickly rules out this possibility. It shifts direction in short bursts, moving from spot to spot in erratic patterns just above the grass. The snowflakes blowing across the video do so in a straight diagonal path, moving quickly across the screen then out of view. Of course, many videos that show a blurry, indiscernible shape are often explained away as insects on the camera lens. However, in this case, if you watch the video closely, right at the very end, a dog can be seen at the bottom of screen. While its appearance is brief, it seems as though it might be able to sense the strange moving shape. If this is the case, then it would certainly rule out the insect on the lens theory. So what could this strange little figure be? Some have suggested it could be an elusive cryptid. Take another look at the video and let me know what you think it is in the comments section below. In this scary video from YouTube channel Handle Bandle, one homeowner's investigation of strange noises on their roof quickly turns bad when he discovers a lot more than he bargained for. The story actually begins several days before the video was recorded. The homeowner had just returned from food shopping. He left some dry goods in the garage while he loaded everything else into the house. However, when he returned to the garage, he was shocked to discover that several boxes of food had been torn open and their contents lay scattered across the floor. Several days later, the uploader heard more strange noises coming from outside. Bravely, he decided to investigate.
I can't really describe exactly what it sounded like, but almost like some kind of a screech.
From the ground, the homeowner makes a startling discovery. Take a look.
What is that? What in the f***?
As you can see, a strange creature can be seen peeking over the top of the roof. It seems to have a large circular head, small facial features, and grey skin.
Hey.
The uploader decides to head to the roof for a closer look. This is where things suddenly go awry.
Where the hell did it go?
The creature appears again, and seeing it up close startles the man so badly that he nearly falls off the roof.
Where the hell did it go?
What could this strange creature be? The video's uploader suggests that it resembles both an alien and even the mythical creature known as the Rake.
What in the
Many viewers also think that it might be some sort of extraterrestrial. The creature isn't frightened of the man or the light shining at it. It almost seems curious about him. Could this footage show a member of an alien race that has come to Earth to study us? Let me know what you think in the comments section below.
Where the hell did it go?
Google Earth gives users all over the globe the chance to see science from just about anywhere on the planet. This ability makes for exciting opportunities to see beautiful landscapes and incredible architecture. However, one TikToker's exploration of Google Earth led to the discovery of something not beautiful, but downright terrifying. Jason Klein shared the clip for all to see. The TikToker begins his video by stating that he's found something incredibly weird on Google Earth.
Okay guys, I just found something incredibly weird on Google Earth and I want to know what you think.
He shows his phone with Google Earth on the screen, showing viewers where they should click to arrive at the same location as him.
And right here, once you get all the way down, you are going to find a circular object, kind of looks like a thumbprint, but this is where it starts to get crazy. Okay, you're going to zoom in right here.
He turns on Street View, where viewers can see actual photos of the area.
Right there, okay, now click on the dot, now zoom in. Now what you're about to see, I cannot explain, and I do not understand. I'm like literally like, I don't think I'm supposed to see this.
He then zooms in on what seems to be a man wearing completely white clothing holding onto a bicycle.
Bicycle, looking really creepy.
He then turns the camera around to show something even more frightening. Watch.
In a circle, doing some sort of weird ceremony or something? I don't know, you guys. Follow for more.
It looks to be a group of men, all wearing white clothing, huddled in a circle. Fortunately, other TikTokers were quick to provide an explanation for what Jason Klein stumbled upon in the app. In fact, the circle of men is actually an art piece as part of the Goldwell Open Air Museum in the town of Rhyolite, Nevada. In addition to this piece are other sculptures and a large red barn that serves as an art space for resident artists. Rhyolite is an abandoned ghost town. Its heyday dates all the way back to the Gold Rush era, where it once prospered before meeting its end in 1916 due to financial issues. Since then, the town has seen no other residents, only curious visitors who tend to stop by after visiting nearby Death Valley. Still, there's no denying that these statues are on the creepy side.
The scariest part, watch, when you flip around, there's a whole group of them in a circle doing some sort of weird ceremony or something. I don't know, you guys. Follow for more.
Shadow figures. These mysterious entities are the stuff of nightmares. It's said that they appear as mere silhouettes in dark corners, making the witnesses believe the light is playing tricks on them. Some believe that they're beings from other worlds or spirits portending to tragedies yet to come. Some even believe that they appear to drive witnesses into madness. Unfortunately, TikToker Chits McGee believes that he has a shadow person residing in their home. The story begins with this footage in which the TikToker explains that he's been hearing strange scratching noises and that he's set up a camera to try and solve the mystery.
So I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom. And so I'm going to set up this camera to record.
Mere seconds after he turns out the lights and walks away from the camera, something eerie happens. Watch. As you can see, the shadowy figure makes its first appearance in the bathroom mirror, peeking into the mirror for a moment before quickly slipping away. The entity makes its second appearance in the same mirror. The TikToker first gives a look at the bathroom, showing us that the room is empty.
Nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door.
He turns the lights out and sits on the couch recording the mirror over his shoulder. After he jokingly says peekaboo, the shadow figure once again peeks into the mirror before quickly disappearing.
Peekaboo!
The TikToker begins losing sleep over the situation, especially when the entity begins slamming doors in the night. Taking advice from his viewers, he records himself standing in the dark hallway demanding that the spirit leave. Watch what happens.
We are not gonna take it anymore, okay? You need to get the out. No, no.
Whatever it is responds with an eerie growl before slamming the bathroom door shut.
You need to get the out. No, no. This is
The TikToker isn't giving up without a fight, however. In his next video, he uses a spirit box to communicate with the shadow figure. During the session, the entity states that its name is Peekaboo and tells the TikToker to make a wish.
What's her name?
He asks the spirit if it wants to hurt them.
Are you here to hurt us?
However, the spirit does indicate that it's displeased about being asked to leave, telling the TikToker that his language was bad. When asked what it is, the spirit says it's female.
Can you identify what you are? Okay.
The TikToker then asks if it's evil. Take a listen.
Are you evil?
Based on the responses from the spirit box session, the TikToker believes that there are at least 2 spirits haunting the house. The spirit ends the session by saying, "Leave him." It's unclear if it's simply attempting to end the conversation or indicating that it'll leave the home. For now, this TikToker has no idea what the future holds for him and his paranormal visitor. Not all spirits show up in corporeal form. In this video from the YouTube channel High, it's only through observing the supposed strange effects of an alleged spiritual presence that we know something's amiss. The footage was recorded in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. We see a lone explorer walking around the dark grounds of an old abandoned building. The only light comes from a flashlight held by the explorer himself. Cautiously, he heads inside the structure and begins to look around.
Assalamu alaikum.
Not long after he enters, he's startled by a strange presence. Take a look. As you can see, the door suddenly seems to move on its own. He kicks it open and takes a look behind, but there's nothing there. Then, some moments later, while exploring another room, a light fixture begins swinging back and forth. After this, a loud, mysterious banging sound drives the man from the building in fear.
Bismillah. 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 Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum.
The explorer who recorded the video believes that he encountered a jinn, a common supernatural entity in Arabian mythology. There is some ambiguity about whether jinns are evil or benevolent. However, many people believe they're responsible for disease and other misfortune. They're said to be able to appear in many different forms, but also can be invisible. Some say this is the most fearsome incarnation of the jinn, as it can attack without being seen. So what do you think? Did this explorer really encounter a fearsome paranormal presence? Or is there another, less supernatural explanation for the strange events that occurred in this abandoned building? Until more information surfaces, we'll leave it up to you to be the judge.
Bismillah. 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 Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum.
Lots of scary things can happen while working as a paramedic. However, most emergency medical workers probably don't worry about ghosts. This video from YouTuber Bogdaddy suggests that they might want to add spirits to their list of occupational hazards. The video seems to have been recorded on a cell phone from the front seat of a vehicle driving just behind an ambulance. It's dark out and there's a light inside the ambulance which makes it possible to see into the back of the vehicle. Take a look at what they see. The passengers become disturbed when they notice a pale face staring at them through the window. The face doesn't move or change expression, it simply stares eerily for the entire duration of the video. Some viewers have suggested that, although creepy, there's nothing supernatural happening, simply a patient, perhaps with some sort of mental illness, on their way to the hospital. It seems highly unlikely that the medics would have left the patient alone while experiencing an emergency, one that was important enough to necessitate an ambulance. So then, what could this entity be? The uploader has suggested that the face could belong to a ghost, and as it probably isn't unusual for patients to pass away en route to the hospital, this does seem like a plausible theory. Perhaps it's actually the spirit of someone who took their final ride in this ambulance that's responsible for the creepy face in the vehicle's window. A video uploaded by Parasomnia MX on TikTok has gone on to terrify many around the world. In the video, we get a look at something far from normal, but certainly intriguing in its own right. We can see the back of a car that's driving ahead of the vehicle where the footage is being shot from. All looks normal at first until something freaky happens. Watch. Some kind of ghostly figure appears at the back of the car. It lingers for a few moments before disappearing completely. Here it is again in slow motion and zoomed in. With the closer zoom, it seems that the figure is indeed transparent, making a case for it truly being some type of phantom. Some viewers suggested it could be a mannequin of some kind, but that doesn't explain its sudden disappearance. This might be one mystery we can't solve unless eventually given an explanation from the original uploader. Many people are afraid of dolls. Perhaps it's because of the Child's Play films, or maybe it's just the thought of seeing an inanimate, childlike effigy suddenly spring to life. Either way, it's hard to deny that there's something creepy about them. According to psychologists, the reason that people are so creeped out by dolls comes from the way the brain processes faces. We can quickly recognize when something looks like a face, and then our brain begins the task of determining if the object is alive or not. Because dolls can mimic human expressions so closely, our brains assume that there must be an actual person behind the face. This, juxtaposed with the lifeless nature of the toys, can certainly be extremely disconcerting. This video from Tick Tocker HorrorGhoul88 certainly seems to confirm the theory that there's something not quite normal about these seemingly innocent toys. In the footage, we see a room filled with dozens of different types of dolls. Most of them are placed on the shelves that cover every wall of the room, but a particularly creepy Chucky doll rests on a chair close to the camera. It's unclear why the camera is set up in the room in the first place. However, it seems that the TikToker must have suspected something odd was happening in the room when they weren't around. Sure enough, the dolls don't disappoint. Take a look. Despite the fact that there's no one in the room, the Chucky doll just behind the chair mysteriously falls to the ground. Does this doll have a mind of its own, or could a playful poltergeist be responsible? Of course, there's always the slight chance that the doll simply fell over on its own. But what do you think? Are our minds just playing tricks on us, or could there really be a paranormal explanation for the doll's sudden movement? If you've ever heard strange noises coming from your roof, you probably just assumed it's a squirrel or maybe even a possum. However, if this video's to be believed, you may want to rethink the possibilities. The footage appears to have been recorded on an outdoor security camera positioned along a small pedestrian walkway. We can see a building on the opposite side of the walkway and a lone man walking down the path. Suddenly, the man is startled as two bizarre creatures can be seen running along the building's roof. The creatures move quickly, so it's difficult to see them clearly at first glance. If we slow the footage down, we can get a better look at their bizarre appearance. The creatures appear to run on all fours. They have long, thick tails similar to that of a kangaroo. The man's clearly startled, but it seems the creatures are gone before he can make sense of what he's just seen. As far back as 1899, people have reported spotting animals that looked like kangaroos or wallabies, far away from their native Australia. Sightings have occurred in France, Japan, the United Kingdom, and even the United States. Some believe these sightings can be easily explained as escaped zoo animals. Others think that these phantom kangaroos are something else entirely, perhaps a type of rare cryptid. It seems unlikely that these creatures could be ordinary kangaroos, however. They appear to be running on all fours, which is very different from how kangaroos typically move. If anything, they actually seem to resemble some sort of small dinosaur. So what do you think? Are these creatures escaped zoo animals, or could they be something else entirely? Let me know your theories down below. "3 AM seems to bring out some of the eeriest sights and sounds, or is it just all in our heads? Reddit user Isaac2406 swore that they saw some type of shadow figure at his work in the middle of the night, and in this case he has footage to prove it. Whether this shadow is a ghostly entity or just a person snooping around at night is unclear, but one thing's for sure, this was no figment of the imagination. In the clip we see security footage of the Reddit user's workspace. Right away, what looks like a shadowy figure appears in the background and walks around a corner. Here it is slowed down and zoomed in. Upon closer inspection, it does look like the figure is semi-transparent. Some thought it was perhaps a manager or employee. The reason that the figure could be semi-transparent could be due to lighting issues or a problem with the camera's lens. Other viewers believed 100% that this was a shadow figure, as they claim to have seen something similar at night time. As such, this clip remains up for debate in the paranormal community. What do you think this mysterious figure is? Let me know your theories down below. A trip to the beach is supposed to be a pleasant day out, but unfortunately for one couple in the Philippines, their trip to Alaminos resulted in an eerie encounter. Slaptown viewer Jeffrey BP provided the image for all to try and make sense of. The picture shows a woman, the viewer's wife, standing in the ocean. In the background we can see an island of trees on the beach. Right above this set of trees is a bizarre looking object that seems to hover in the air. A close-up of this object shows something quite strange. The object actually looks to be a woman with a hunched back, very long dark hair and no feet floating in the air. The Philippines are no stranger to sightings of ghostly women. In fact, the country's filled with stories of sightings of the White Lady. This woman, typically dressed in white, is a ghost who's suffered great tragedy in the past, such as the loss of a partner or child. She's said to haunt the area where the tragedy occurred, scaring all others who dare to go there. While the woman shown in this photo here doesn't seem to be wearing any sort of white garment, her actions resemble that typically associated with the White Lady, hovering over a certain spot, looking frozen in place and sad. Did this beach visitor get a glimpse of the local legend? What do you make of this bizarre floating object? Let me know your theories in the comment section below. Most of us assume that we can trust what we see in the mirror to be an accurate reflection of what's really there. According to Tick Tocker, Schmay57, one mirror in her house isn't all that trustworthy. The Tick Tocker states that sometimes she and her friends see things in the mirror that seem very out of place. They claim it's a vintage mirror that they've upcycled. In this video, she alternates between recording the mirror and recording the room. Keep an eye on the white couch as she pans back and forth.
Okay, so that's the background.
When she records the mirror, there seems to be a featureless person sitting there. It almost looks like a store mannequin. However, when she turns around, the couch is empty.
Once again, my apartment.
She records the mirror again and the entity is back. She turns the camera quickly enough that it would be impossible for someone to move in and out of the room in that brief amount of time. So what's going on here? In some cultures, people believe that mirrors aren't always as they appear. They believe that mirrors are portals to other worlds, predictors of the future, or windows to the afterlife. Each of these possibilities is terrifying for this TikToker. Is she seeing some strange being living in an alternative reality version of her home? Will something bizarre happen in her near future? Or is she seeing the reflection of a long deceased resident who's still lingering in their former home? Whatever the cause of this strange phenomenon, it's clear there's something very strange going on in this unassuming home. The mirror seems to be privy to secrets that the rest of us are unable to see. What do you think this strange reflection is trying to tell the homeowner? Let me know your theories down below. Occasionally, security cameras capture some very creepy things. Whether they're real or possibly caused by a glitch in the equipment is always open for debate. That said, it's certainly hard to deny what this next clip appears to show. We can see two houses on the opposite side of a roadway. For the first few seconds, nothing out of the ordinary happens. Then, a person walks into frame from the left side of the screen. The footage is too dark and grainy to make out any features, but on first glance it certainly looks like an ordinary person. That is, until something truly bizarre happens. Take a look.
Walking, no legs, and she disappears. If you see, nobody is going into this apartment right now.
As you can see, as the figure continues walking, they seem to gradually fade away, until there's no trace they were ever there in the first place.
And she disappears. If you see, nobody is going into this apartment right now.
The fact that the footage is blurry and occasionally has several lines running through the picture seems to be enough for some viewers to dismiss the person's disappearance as a camera glitch. However, no other solid objects vanish from view at any point in the video, which has led others to suspect that the person might actually be a ghost. As security cameras become a must-have household item, more supposed supernatural footage is being captured than ever before. And so, while there's always going to be doubters, it's certainly hard to deny that something strange isn't afoot when a person simply vanishes from sight.
And she disappears. If you see, nobody is going into this apartment right now.
When two young girls are home alone, every sound and shadow has the potential to be creepy. However, in this video from Redditor Comfortable Stable 6, these girls definitely have a good reason to be terrified. While relaxing in their living room in Mizoram, India, the two girls see something unusual outside. Take a look. There appears to be a strange shadow reflected on the window to the balcony. They creep onto the balcony to take a look around, but everything outside is still and quiet. Yet, when they go back inside the room, there's clearly a moving shadow cast on the glass. There's clearly nothing in the room with the girls that could be casting the shadow. So what's going on here? One viewer suggests that the shadow resembles a leprechaun from Irish folklore. However, Indian culture has its own version of this mythic creature, the monopod. The monopod is a dwarf-like creature that only has one leg. This single limb is broad and strong, allowing the creature to move by hopping. The fact that the shadow clearly seems to be hopping certainly reflects these ancient tales of a one-legged creature. Is there a more mundane explanation for this terrifying shadow? Or did these young women have an encounter with a creature many believe only exists in stories? With only this video to go on, the source of the bizarre shadow remains a mystery. Love to get your take on this strange piece of footage in the comments section below. Almost every country in the world has certain places that locals fear to visit due to superstition and mythology. Angel's Curve is just such a place for those living in the Central American country of Guatemala. This footage from local news channel Canal 3 Guatemala makes it clear why residents tend to stay away from this particular spot, especially after dark. Navigating a windy road can be dangerous if the conditions are slippery, but ordinarily a good driver should have nothing to fear when maneuvering their way along a road such as this. Unfortunately, it seems that even the best drivers might want to take extra caution as they approach Angel's Curve. According to locals, this part of the road has seen more than its fair share of crashes, and several security cameras have even managed to capture the mayhem. They're usually single-car accidents in which the driver simply loses control of their vehicle. However, many of these incidents have been fatal. While it would be easy to blame these accidents on a treacherous stretch of road, footage seems to suggest that this is not the case at all. In this particular video, we see a car losing control as it travels around Angel's Curve.
A primera vista, el video parecía como una actividad de rutina para los monitores de cámaras. Cerca del lugar.
Just as the vehicle comes to a standstill, a misty white light suddenly appears to rise from the scene of the accident. While this incident was obviously not fatal, many locals have come to believe that this white light is some sort of angel. Could this road have its very own angel of death that is responsible for spinning cars out of control? Another theory about the strange white light is that it's simply glare from a nearby streetlight reflecting off the smoke that is billowing out of the damaged car. The problem with this theory, however, is that the white light's been seen several times, and it's also said to appear on both sides of the road. Also, take a look at this view of the same accident from a different camera.
Y segundos después, el vehículo pierde el control.
As you can see, the footage appears to show a dark, shadow-like figure moving from the road and disappearing through what looks to be a locked gate. What do you think's going on along this infamous stretch of road? Regardless of the cause of these accidents, local drivers may be wise to find an alternative route when driving through the area, especially at nighttime.
Las cámaras se observa la silueta de un hombre con un sombrero y segundos después el vehículo pierde el control.
Buildings formerly used as hospitals and sanatoriums are common places for ghost hunters to search for the supernatural. In this instance, even the seasoned investigators from Resonance Paranormal are creeped out by what they see in this video, shot during a tour of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. This team has visited the sanatorium numerous times. On this evening, they're taking part in a tour.
It's not like we can flip a switch and it happens, but sometimes I can walk through this place and it's like a big old empty building, and then it's like someone flips a switch all of a sudden.
As the tour guide talks, keep an eye on the doorway in the background.
I got frightened about 3 months ago when I was doing a sweep at 4 a.m. to make sure the building was clear.
For a brief moment, a dark figure can be seen before it quickly ducks out of sight.
Here's the clip again at half speed.
According to the uploader, the video shows that all but one of the group members are accounted for in the room. The other member was supposedly taking photos in another section of the building at the time. While it might be easy to dismiss the uploader's testimony and assume that the shadowy figure seen in the doorway is simply the missing crew member, a further analysis of the footage turns up something rather eerie. A comparison of the shadow figure and the missing crew member appears to show that they're not the same person at all. Firstly, a light analysis shows that the missing crew member's clothing clearly reflects what little light is present in the room.
You can see his pants, his shirt, which turns up white in the infrared light. You can see the straps from his backpack, and you can see his camera and the hat that he's wearing on his head. This detail does not exist on the figure on the left.
Whereas the shadow figure appears as a dark void.
No matter how much I brighten up the still frames or the video, I'm unable to bring out any detail in the figure on the left other than a black shape.
Furthermore, the crew member seems to be noticeably taller than the mysterious shadow figure.
Here's where the top of Phil's head is, and here's the top of the head of the figure on the left. Based on this comparison, you can see that Phil is almost a full head taller than the figure on the left.
So who, or what then, could it be? Waverly Hills was first opened in 1910 to house tuberculosis patients during an outbreak in the area. Having seen its fair share of death and suffering, it's unsurprising that the now abandoned building is known as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Visitors regularly hear strange voices, footsteps, and echoes of medical equipment being moved around. People have spotted strange figures in the shadows and felt ghostly eyes on them as they move through the rundown halls. Considering the sanatorium's grisly past, could it be possible that the building now plays home to the spirits of those that spent their final days on the premises?
I got frightened about 3 months ago when I was doing a sweep at 4 a.m. to make sure the building was clear.
Nowadays, dolls are associated with evil and creepiness more than ever, thanks in particular to the horror movie franchise Annabelle. Many fear that their own dolls may be possessed by some demon or other sinister creature, though there are, as always, skeptics. Well, thanks to one Facebook video shared by blustery Zona del Terra, these skeptics may join the group of believers in evil dolls after all. In the video, we can see a doll resting on the floor. The doll holds a type of pink bracelet in her hands and seemingly sits completely still. Two individuals speak in the background, with one lighting candles that sit in front of the doll. Following this, the individuals chant something together, seeming to perform a kind of ritual.
Catalina, Catalina, vuelve a la vida, lo que el diablo te da, el diablo te quita.
For 30 seconds, nothing happens, until suddenly something is caught on camera. Watch. The doll's hand moves on its own. The individuals scream before the clip mysteriously ends. As to the whole argument that dolls are indeed evil, the response to this video was split in half. Some other Facebook users were positive that the girls in the video had indeed summoned a demon, while others were sure that this video was a kind of silly prank. Perhaps we can only hope that this is a prank and nothing wicked, as the girls may have brought to life a real Annabelle. In that case, their first response should be to call their local priest or exorcist. If you're looking to witness something paranormal, hospitals, with the overwhelming amount of death they see, are probably a good place to start. This video, uploaded to YouTube by Casos Paranormales, shows what one might expect to see in such a creepy place. Supposedly recorded in an Argentinian hospital, the footage appears to be an excerpt taken from a security camera placed high on the wall of one of the building's corridors. Initially, there's not much movement to be seen. The first strange activity you may notice happens near the bottom of the screen. Watch closely and you may see an unusual black shadow moving around near the edge of the video. This could be a simple glitch in the footage itself. However, what happens next makes this seem far less likely. Moments after the black shadow appears, the wheelchair parked in the hallway slowly begins to move on its own. It wheels forward a few feet before gradually spinning around and backing itself into an adjacent corridor. There's no way that the chair could have moved this way without some sort of intervention. Several viewers have noticed a small black shadow near the base of the wheelchair. They believe that a tiny elf-like creature known in South American folklore as a duende might actually be pushing the device. Others, however, think it's a spirit or ghost of some kind. Take another look at the footage and tell me what you think. Is a tiny creature really pushing the wheelchair? Or could a pesky poltergeist be the one that's to blame? Watch closely and draw your own conclusions.
If you want to see some more scary video clips, then click that link on the top there. Otherwise, binge through our playlists right there. Now remember, we live stream every weekend on a Friday night PST time. It's a lot of fun. Come and chat and meet the rest of the community. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.